Hey guys, it's Stuart again, and I just wanted to chat a little bit about why I sketch. I think sketching is something that some people really hate and some people absolutely love. So yeah, it's something that I've spent a lot of time working on over the past 10 years or so. I studied industrial design when I was younger, and that really taught me a lot of key principles around sketching. Sketching's been something that I've been doing all along, and I've never really thought about how much I enjoyed sketching until I had to start teaching it. But it really is something that's super cool and it's so much fun. But often what happens is when it becomes something that we do because we have to, or we're forced to do it, it takes the fun out of it. But sketching is a really, really cool thing for us to be able to do. And what you can do on paper with a pen can be crazy complicated to do on a computer with a CAD model or something. So I just want to go through some of the sketches that I just had lying around in my office that I've collected over the past couple of years, and just show you sort of what I use sketching for in my everyday life, when I'm doing it for fun, when I'm doing it to solve problems, when I'm doing it to communicate to clients, and I'll talk a little bit about all of those different things. So at the moment, I'm using sketching right now to very badly work out some complex components for a kit that I'm designing to make a little digital electronic safe. So a lot of my sketches look like this, where I've got notes and I've been kind of scribbling things down when I'm talking to people on the phone. I'm solving lots of different small problems kind of continuously, and I find that this is one of the most effective ways of solving problems, is just while I'm thinking, while I'm doing other things, to be drawing and to be using the idle part of my brain to solve problems that I'm trying to work through. So this is pretty cool. This is a little latch that would sit on the inside of a safe door, and that's an electromagnet that we build, and when you turn the electromagnet on, it would pull that latch open and then the door can open. So that's a principle. So that's the top view. This is a side view that I've been designing to try and work out what is it going to look like from the top and from the side before I even try to sketch the three-dimensional profile. I draw watches for fun. I've made a couple of my own watches, and at some point I guess I can show you some pictures of that. When I was younger, I did an apprenticeship as a goldsmith, and I feel like that was a lot of bench work. I'm working on jewelry making stuff, and when I studied industrial design, it allowed me to develop the sketching skills that I needed to really resolve designs before I even sat down at the jewelry bench. So this is what I do. You can see here, this is actually, I drew this folded in half, so it makes more sense if it's that way. This is kind of looking at the watch face and just some ideas around that, what a bezel is going to look like, getting the proportion right. These are some strap details that are not very clear. I think I was sitting in some meeting when I sketched that, and then this was looking at what it would look like from the inside. So this is a section view. Yeah, so that was fun. Then sometimes I just sketch things, I design things for fun. So this was when I was looking at building a fireplace for my house. Let's see what else here. I made a handbag for my wife at one point, and this was kind of the initial sketch concepts around that. I draw cars. I like drawing cars, but I'm really bad at it. So here's some different sketches of here's a rally car. Would look pretty cool if we could be able to build it. A little truck thing, and a lot of these were just idly drawing them for fun. This was pretty cool. I like this concept of a tricopter. And so sometimes when you're sketching, you just sketch because you feel like drawing something, and if it comes out and looks cool, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, some sort of hovercraft thing. Then at one point, I was lecturing at UJ Industrial Design, and we were designing sunglasses, and in class we quickly sketched these to be able to take it into a CAD model. So we always use sketching in a product design sense to kind of realize your form, work it out, and then from there we go into the CAD. A lot of the time, if you don't do it in that process of putting it on paper first, we end up doing really bad CAD. And yeah, so sketching is a really, really good, an essential tool before we go into CAD modeling. And a lot of people say, why do we need to draw by hand before, why do we need to draw by hand? Because we can do everything on the computer now. I'm still on the quite hardcore in saying we have to be able to draw it by hand first, because then you'll understand the form. So there's a cool chair. I've been planning on making some chairs like this for a long time, but I haven't done it yet. I really love this chair sort of design, and it was originally, this kind of design of chair was developed by a guy called Charles Eames. And if you Google some Eames chairs, you can see some amazing furniture design stuff that Charles and Ray Eames did back in the 70s. I think there were some really influential furniture designers. Then sometimes just random forms, different ceramic items. There's some more watches. This was another ceramic thing that I was playing around with. I don't even know what that was. I think there was some motorbike side mirrors, just random sketches. This is some technical developments, working out how we'd make a desk that can change height and angle. I had somebody come to me at one point there. I was designing, I really wanted to do a mocha pot, my own coffee maker at some point, and so that was some conceptual sketches that I was doing there. And yeah, I think that this was some carabiner clips that we were playing with at one point to maybe look at doing a project at university for. So those were some of the random sketches that I had floating around. Then I've got some of my hobby sketches, and so this is where things get quite exciting. I really enjoy making knives. Sometimes I design the knife in the workshop on greasy paper, but yeah, those some pretty cool knives. I'm planning on making another one soon, but really just looking at side profiles, what the form would look like. I really like that form over there. I think that was what turned into this design over here later on, and that gives us kind of an idea of the form that we want to do before we go and start, drawing things out on metal and looking at how that's going to work. So some knife making sketches, that's pretty cool. Always start on paper before I go into the workshop. So here's some of my jewelry design stuff. I do commissions on jewelry design. So if you're getting married and you can't find a ring that you like at a jewelry store, then I'm the person that a lot of people go to. And it normally starts by saying, what kind of ring's going to look nice on your important person's finger. So we start and we look at the proportions, we look at the design. This is some really sort of, like careful consideration stuff. So we'd start with this. We'd say, these are some of the different options. Which one do you like? And then my client will come to me and say, like, that's something special. I like that idea, that like design. Can you work more on that? And then so we'll go back, and I think after this we actually decided on a diamond that he was going to use for his ring. And once we had that, we could start looking at the technical elements of how this ring would work and the proportion of it, because once you know the size of your diamond, you can compare it to the size of the finger, and you can see whether the proportions are going to be right. And so that's really, I think I kind of designed this and then moved on to a different page. So I never really finished this sketch. And something that I do a lot is that I'll start designing something and I'll realize that this has solved the problem or it's fixed something, and I don't even need to carry on. And then I think that this was an earlier one. Yeah, so this was actually, you can see I even numbered them. Sometimes I'm so organized and sometimes I'm not. So that was looking at the first concept page, that was the second concept page, and this is when we start using rendering. This is like using a Copic marker, and you can get a whole bunch of different colors, and you can really use that to create some amazing renders of colorful designs. It just makes it pop so much. I just absolutely love this, like light blue, just to give it a little bit of like a three-dimensional element to it. And it just, if you're drawing for design and you're using this to speak to your clients, these kind of drawings just work so well. And then, this I guess was the technical refinement of that, working out exactly what the proportion was. And from here, I went into CAD modeling it, and I can show you some of the CAD models and the end product. I'll organize so that they're up on the screen now. So that was one engagement ring which I did that was really successful. It came out really beautifully. Here's another one that I was doing a while back, and this I think shows the process quite nicely, because a client came to me and they said they wanted a 21st ring for their daughter. And so I started with a whole lot of small random sketches, and I kind of used this to refine some of my ideas, and eventually kind of got to a concept page that I showed to my client. And so on that, we had a bunch of different different directions. And so I went to my client and I said, do you like any of these? And she said no. And so I went back and I looked at a whole bunch of new designs. I think that was when I did this page, and we looked at incorporating the heart design into it. And you can see again some nice sketch rendering coming through, very, very quick stuff. And you can also use it to kind of make backgrounds. So sometimes you just want to give your sketch something to make it sort of pop out of the page a little bit. And so if you make the background darker, it can work even better sometimes than making the actual thing solid. So that's pretty cool. And then that was the end product, or the end design of what we wanted. Again, just from a top view, because that's how you see a ring most of the time. It's just what it looks like from the top. And then from this, my client said, okay, I'm happy with this. Can we go into CAD modeling it? And then from there, I modeled it up. I sent her renders, and after that, we made the ring, which is another really, really cool process, which uses some incredible technologies, but we don't really need to go into that now. And then some other designs. Again, this is another example of a design that I never really finished in sketch form, because my client said, that one I want it, make it, we're happy with it. So I started with the sketch. I kind of used the sketching to resolve some of the issues, some of the concept, but it was enough to be able to show my clients. And as soon as they saw that, they said, that's what we want. And we went with it, and again, really, really beautiful outcome. Very different to traditional engagement rings, I guess. But it was a great project. And then just some other sketches of rings. This is really just such a powerful tool in an area like jewelry design, to be able to communicate your ideas to your clients. Because if you are three-dimensionally minded, you've got this picture in your mind, you're the designer, you know it, and you've got this image in your head. To get that image to your client, to the person who's going to be paying you money for it, this is probably one of the most effective ways of transferring that information, and being able to get them to see the picture that you see in your head. So that's just a very, very quick look at some of the sketching that I do for I guess a living and for fun. And I hope that inspired you a little bit more to start sketching on your own, and to grow more in your abilities for sketching. Have fun as you sketch, and if you have any questions, or if you have any comments that you'd like to add, please give us a shout, and we'd love to talk to you about sketching.